When I moved into my new neighborhood, I thought I had found the perfect place. The houses were neat, the lawns trimmed, and the promise of a peaceful community was written in bold across the welcome packet. But peace didn't last long. My deed clearly listed a designated parking spot, one located just a few feet from my front door. It was a small convenience, but to me, it meant a lot. Except, on my very first week, I noticed something odd. My space was already occupied not by a visitor, not by accident, but by the gleaming SUV belonging to none other than the HOA president. At first, I assumed it was temporary. Maybe she had guests. Maybe it was a mix-up. But days turned into weeks, and my spot was never free. Instead, I was forced to park far away, carrying groceries across the block while the president enjoyed the privilege that wasn't hers. But this was only the beginning. Frustration grew quickly. Every attempt to park in my rightful spot was met with handwritten notes taped to my windshield, warning me about community rules. Each note bore the HOA's letterhead, signed in bold strokes by the president herself. She insisted the spot belonged to the board and that I had been misinformed when buying my property. But I had legal documents that told a different story. The more I pushed back, the more hostile things became. Neighbors whispered about the president's reputation, about how she had bent rules in the past to favor herself. She wasn't just taking my spot, she was using it to assert dominance, to remind everyone who really held power in the neighborhood. And each time I confronted her, she smiled, as though daring me to challenge her authority. I realized then that this wasn't a mistake. It was a battle for control. Weeks turned into months, and the problem only worsened. I gathered evidence, photographs, timestamps, and copies of my deed. I documented every instance of her SUV parked squarely in the spot that legally belonged to me. The final straw came one evening when I returned home to find a warning letter in my mailbox. According to the president, I owed fines for illegally occupying board property. She was charging me for parking in my own spot. That was the moment I knew things had gone too far. I wasn't just dealing with an inconsiderate neighbor, I was facing corruption at the very heart of the HOA. And if I wanted to keep my rights, I would have to expose the truth. Little did the president know, her downfall was closer than she thought.